My entire life, I struggled with obesity, but then one day I decided I'm gonna step on stage and compete in my very first bodybuilding competition. I lost 80 pounds in the last year and a half, and for the first half of 2025, I completed my first bodybuilding show prep and stepped on stage where I competed against both pro and amateur competitors. This experience has been the most life-changing challenge I've done, as it pushed me to become the leanest I've ever been in my entire life. Not only did this prep change me physically, it also changed me mentally as well. Getting into fitness created one of the biggest impacts in my life, as it encouraged me to always step out of my comfort zone. It showed me that anything is possible as long as I stay committed to myself, which in turn transformed me from someone who had absolutely no confidence to someone who developed the courage to step on a stage and get his physique judged in front of an audience of hundreds of people. This is my experience competing in my first bodybuilding show, coming from someone who used to be 100 pounds overweight to seeing my abs for the very first time. As my annual Misogi for 2025, I decided to compete in my very first bodybuilding competition. I've been doing the Misogi challenge for about 4 years now. For those of you who are not familiar with Misogi, what Misogi is essentially doing something that you thought you could never do. So it's basically just challenging yourself. Usually it's annual. It's a good way to build your confidence and to show yourself that you can do anything you put your mind to. So that's why I decided to compete in my very first bodybuilding competition. So going into the competition, I decided to compete in 2 events. I competed in open men's physique and I competed in best of the best posing. In open men's physique is a mixture of both experienced and inexperienced bodybuilders. So they have novice, which novice is only for people who are first time. So I should have actually went novice, but I decided to go big or go home and compete with experienced bodybuilders just to see what I'm truly made of. And the best of the best poser was a mixture of different divisions, like those women included, classic physique, bodybuilding, and physique competitors. And it had a mixture of both amateur and pros. It was about half and half, the people that I competed with. So I really challenged myself to see how lean I could get and how competitive I could be by choosing those 2 events. But then going into the show, I think about 2 weeks out, I had some very bad news. I found out that my grandma passed away, and I thought about dropping everything and completely just canceling everything. All that I worked for the past 5.5 months, I was about to throw it all away because my grandma died. But full disclosure, this grandma that died, she's not blood related to me. I don't really have a good relationship with her. I kind of chose that. I'm not gonna disclose the reason why publicly, why that is. But I decided to go forward with the show, but that was on my mind going into the show, and I wouldn't say it was that much of a distraction. Like, yeah, it sucked. You know, it's still a family member of mine because I'm a big family guy and I still care about people who are part of my family, even though I didn't have a relationship with her. Like, full disclosure, I didn't even know her first name. Like, I only saw her like twice in my life, but I still like had that conscious in the back of my mind, like, that's my grandma. I should just drop everything and go see her funeral in Hawaii. So I decided to just go forward, but that was in the back of my mind going into the show. Pre-show registration, I was so livid during pre-show registration for a few reasons. So I decided to compete in the NFF, Naturally Fit Federation in Dallas, because my friends did it last year and they said it was pretty small. There wasn't that many people there. So even though I was pushing myself to go against pros and experienced bodybuilders, I still gave myself a little chance of, you know, being competitive, maybe possibly winning by going to a smaller pool of competitors, a smaller show. So that's why I did the NFF in Dallas, the Dallas Showdown. And when I got there, I was speaking to like people that were there, all the other competitors, and they told me there was like 40 people competing in men's physique. Not in open, but like in pro, novice, and open. It was all combined. But I ended up finding out that the open men's physique was going to be divided into 2 classes. When my friends did it last year, they were only in 1 class, and I believe there was only like seven of them, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a very small pool last year compared to this year. It was a way bigger pool. So this year it was split into height classes. So I'm 6'1". At pre-registration, I believe I got measured at 6 foot exactly, or like 5'11 and a half. But I was either way, I was considered like the taller class. So I essentially was screwed. I knew I was screwed when I got measured at pre-registration. I weighed in at 195 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. I think I went in 197. But they weighed me in my clothes, which that kind of made me mad too. Because when I weigh in at home, I only weigh in my underwear, and my lowest weigh-in was 189. But weight doesn't matter in open men's physique. Only height does when there's a lot of competitors. So I went against the taller people. So that meant I had to go against people who naturally just had bigger muscles. So I knew that I did not really stand too much of a chance. And for the best of the best posing, also I thought it was going to be divided between just like novices and pros. Before I found out at pre-registration that it was actually pros and novices together. So pre-registration was like pretty scary. Like I didn't know what was gonna happen, but hey, this is what Misogis are for. So push yourself into seeing what you can actually do. So going into the first ever event that I competed in was the open men's physique. So backstage before you walk in, there's a bunch of weights there. Everyone's like getting their pumps in. And I gotta give a huge shout out to my coach, Dan. You really like saved my butt out there, knowing when to actually like get a pump in and eat my simple carbs. I had a Rice Krispie treat. Because like if I was there by myself, I would have like done everything right away, and I probably would have lost my pump by the time I walked on stage, because like it was just so intimidating seeing like all these big guys like just like working out and pumping up in that like small little crowded room. And me with being a former fat guy, like I've never been that lean before. Like I felt like I didn't belong there. It was like a lot of imposter syndrome just hitting me. But, because I'm just not used to being that lean. But it was already like a surreal experience just being backstage before I even stepped on stage. But the anticipation was crazy going before I walked on stage. Man, I was pretty nervous. I'd be lying by saying I wasn't nervous. Oh man, I was waiting in line. My class was the last one to go. And as soon as I walked on stage, initially, I did the right pose, which was the front pose. And I guess I had like stage brain or something. For some reason, I decided to move to one of my side poses for some reason. And like, I knew I messed up, and the judge was like calling my number, like I think before the first turn. And I couldn't hear them for a while to like switch me over and move me over to another space. But when I knew I messed up, it already got to me. I was like, dang, like I already messed up. But I locked back in for a bit, and I stayed like a little bit towards the middle. So when you're in the middle, for those of you who don't know, the closer you are to the middle, the higher it is you're gonna score, because the judges look more towards the middle. But whenever they put you at the end of the line, that's when you know you're screwed. So there was a point where I got pushed to the end of the line, and that's where my spirit just broke. Like you could see it in my face, the way I was posing. Like my side posing, I didn't turn myself all the way to like show my V-taper. And then my back pose, I think there was one pose where my elbows were just too high, so I didn't fully spread my lats. So that really got to me, and that really kind of broke me a little bit. I was really disappointed that I was moved to the back of the line, and I really wanted to win. Even though like it was a bit delusional to have that expectation I'm just very competitive and I just wanted to do very well. But unfortunately, I got moved to the end of the line, and yeah, I knew I was not going to score very well. So I'll go into the results. So overall in my class, I did get last. I was 1 point away from tying second to last, which means I was 1 point away from beating one competitor. But good news is there's 3 categories that judges hit you on. There's muscularity, symmetry, and conditioning. Muscularity is how much muscles on your frame essentially. Conditioning is just how lean you are. And symmetry is like if one muscle is bigger than the other, so you want your size to be balanced. So I know, like, for instance, I had like one trap bigger than the other. But you know, all my life I never really properly bulked. I just kind of ate whatever I wanted and then I would diet. So I never really grew muscle properly. So going in, like, I didn't really have like that foundation. So I knew like I wasn't gonna do very well regardless, but I still wanted to at least like get like in the middle or maybe top 3. But one category I did get second to last, which was conditioning, which is how lean you are. So I was happy that I did beat out one competitor in one category. So it did show that I belonged on there, and that just reassured me that, hey, like, even though you didn't get first place and you didn't do well in your as well as you wanted in your class, you still beat somebody at something, and you weren't that far away from being even like second to last. So I don't know. I wanted to see my wins and see that, you know, I did kind of belong there, even though like at the time I felt like I didn't, because when I was moved to the back of the line when I was on stage, I was pretty devastated. I'm not gonna lie, but regardless, it was a good experience competing with a group of people and getting that experience in. So the next thing I did was the best of the best posing, and like I said earlier in the video, that one was with a mixture of men's and women's in all different divisions, pros and novices. So it was a good mixture of like pool competitors I was going against. It was a good experience. So basically what the best of the best posing is that you come up with your own choreography and you just do a 60-second like posing choreography. You incorporate like all the different poses, like side pose, front pose, back pose. You can be as creative as you want, and you get to choose your own song. So I chose Lovely by Khalid because I just wanted to have like an emotional vibe to it, because prep was like a very emotional experience for me. Like, it transformed me as a person. So I wanted a song that kind of like had emotion to it, and also like a song that like kind of like made me feel like kind of flowy, I guess. So that one I also got last in, but hey, I went against pros in that one, and I wasn't fully understanding of the rules either. Like, I knew you had to create your own choreography and incorporate all of like the different types of poses, but I didn't know how creative you could be. The guy that won, he had a mask, and I think it was his girlfriend, like came up there and like unmasked him. He had like a whole like presentation out there. Like, if I knew I could have done that, I would have had my own props and been more creative. But I thought you just had to like kind of mix like the different poses together and just like make them mesh really well. I didn't know you could be that creative. So that guy won by a landslide, because I'll give a shout out to him. Very, very, very creative. And there was something unexpected happened in the best of the best posing. Like, once everybody did their choreography, at the end there was a pose off all of a sudden. So like everybody that competed in the best of the best posing, there was like, I think it was 10 of us. All 10 of us were all on stage, and the judges were like, pose off, go! And then everyone like just started doing their poses, and I was like, oh man, like, holy crap, I didn't know this was part of it. So like, I just did like whatever poses that I was already practicing, and I just went out there and posed whatever came to mind. And during that, it was like a petty moment for me. A guy went in front of me, like directly in front of me, and he did a back pose. So what I did was I went right beside him and I did the same exact back pose, just to be petty back. So it was fun. I had a lot of fun with it, even though it was unexpected. And that one I did not have a chance of winning, but I did it as another way to challenge myself and push myself to be competitive and get more lean. But I'm glad I did it still. Like even though like that one, I don't really have any wins other than that I competed in it and took that leap to go against pros, and it was really fun. I had fun doing it. There was a cash prize for that one specifically. It was a $500 cash prize. That might have enticed me even more to do it, but I wanted to have my own choreograph as well and step on stage alone and just have that courage to like go up there against hundreds of people and like just do my own choreography. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. I love the stage. Stage is my home. Like once I get rid of the pre-stage nerves, I love the stage. Man, prep was like very, very interesting. Honestly, the first 4 months or so of prep, I was on cruise mode. Like everything was so easy. Like before my calorie deficit last year, I went on a cut and I lost 60 pounds. I ended it in September of 2024. I took a 3-month break from a calorie deficit before hopping back on prep in January of this year for my bodybuilding show. So like, I don't know, going in I thought it's gonna be easy. I've done so many calorie deficit preps before. Like I kind of always treat my calorie deficits as like prep. I'm very strict on myself whenever I have a goal. Like once I have a goal in mind, like I'm really hard on myself and like I have high standards. So it wasn't hard for me at the beginning to like cut my calories and like eat less, whatever. But up until April, that's when things got difficult. I was pretty burnt out when I was on prep, not gonna lie. Because as I mentioned before last year, I already lost 60 pounds. And I only had a 3-month break going into prep. So I had to go to another calorie deficit and get even leaner than I already was. And I didn't think it was gonna affect me that badly because I'm a competitive person and I wanna really push myself and I love pushing myself to the limits of what I'm truly capable of. But I was just so burnt out from like dieting. Like for the past 2 years, a year and a half of that, I've been in a calorie deficit. And in my mind, like towards those last 2 months, especially when I felt exhausted, I was like, man, I don't wanna cut anymore. I'm tired of restricting myself. I wanna live a normal life again. And so that led to me getting burnt out a couple of times during my prep. So keep in mind during prep, I had a total of 3 trips. I went to Chicago for a wedding. I didn't want to cancel EDC again, so I went to EDC. And then my sister graduated college this year, so I had to show up for that. So I had to manage 3 trips, and then I have a bunch of friends that are getting married. I'm in that period of my life where friends are getting married, so I had 2 weddings to go to. And weddings I don't want to be, like it's a milestone I believe that I hope everybody has once in their life. So I don't want to be on a diet on wedding days. I want to enjoy myself and be able to like eat whatever I want. Doesn't mean that I'm going to go off the wall and like eat like 5,000 calories, but I don't want to be like, hey, I can't drink or I can't eat XYZ. So that was my approach going into the weddings. And the first wedding, I did not really gain that much weight. I maintained my weight over that weekend. I also had an engagement ceremony to go to the following weekend after that because I was a groomsman for one of my good friends. I didn't want to say no to him. Like he helped me through a lot through college, and he's still there for me now. So it was an honor to be a groomsman, and I didn't want to miss his engagement ceremony. So I went to that the following weekend after the first wedding I had to go to. So those 2 I managed really well. Now, this is where my first mess up was. I had a wedding to go to in Chicago in April. And this is where I hit the wall in prep. This is where I started to feel tired. My energy levels went down, my mood went down. It just hit me like a train all of a sudden, all at once. It wasn't even gradual. It was just all of a sudden, like, I just felt like absolute dog shit all the time. So when I was in Chicago, I went off my diet and I gained 8 pounds, and that really, really set me back. It took me 3 weeks to lose that weight and kind of catch up a little bit. But if it wasn't for that mess up, I felt like I could have gotten even leaner. And there was another time where I felt burnt out, which was, I think it was 2 weeks before or 3 weeks before prep. There was one day where I just got triggered and I ate like 5,000 calories, approximately, if I had to guess. I didn't track it, but I ate and I ate and I ate. I was just like mentally like just done that day. I didn't care about like being lean anymore. But that second mess up, the next day I forced myself to go ahead and alleviate the effects as much as possible. So that the very next day, I forced myself to walk 40,000 steps. That was very exhausting. That took me the entire day, but it prevented me from gaining weight from eating those 5,000 calories before. So I locked completely in during prep, especially like, even though I messed up, like I did what I could to catch myself back up. But I was just so exhausted on that second mess up because the scale would not go down the last month of my prep. And I was eating like almost 1,500 calories. I was like 1,550 calories a day. And it was just so frustrating to see the scale not go down. I want to say it didn't go down. It barely went down. Like it would go down like 0.2 pounds like every week, versus like it would go down a pound every week before. So my body was really fighting to not lose any more weight. And by then, like my energy levels and mood was really, really bad. Like training did not feel good at all. I had to force myself to go to the gym. Like whenever I had to go every day, I was working out 6 days a week, and I was in the gym for 2 or 3 hours a week. Or sorry, I did 2 or 3 hours a workout, but I showed up anyway because the point of doing this was to strengthen my mind and to show myself that I can do hard things. Because in those moments where you don't feel like showing up, but you show up anyway, that is like the ultimate self-confidence, self-esteem booster. Because you're keeping that commitment to yourself, even though you feel like not doing it. But you keep that promise, you build that confidence. Because you always break promises to yourself. How are you going to have confidence in yourself if you're always breaking commitments to yourself? So yeah, that's why I decided to show up anyways, even though I felt like absolute like dog. Like every time I worked out, I thought I was gonna pass out every day. And on top of that, there was a few other things I had to manage during prep. I have a full-time job. I'm a software developer outside of the fitness space, and during my luck, I had to be on call during the last month of prep, which meant I had to wake up at 3:30 in the morning just to get my workouts in before the work day started. So that way, if I had to go in and get called into work earlier, I'd be available. So I had to manage that. So I had very, 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 very lack of sleep with feeling like shit. And it was just not a fun time. But like I said, I showed up anyways because I said I'd do it. So that's why I went through this prep, to keep that commitment to myself that I am going to compete. I am going to hit all my workouts. Even though my diet wasn't perfect, there were a few times where I got off my diet. I would say I was 90% perfect, but I didn't miss a single workout. I was 100% on my workouts and my step count. Did not miss a beat. So I kept those commitments to myself to build that self-confidence and and to prove to myself that I can do hard things and I can do anything I put my mind to. I just gotta do it. And then the last thing that unexpected happened to me was during prep, I did not want to date, but I met a pretty amazing woman who's now my girlfriend. And honestly, I could not have pushed through the last part of prep without her support. Like having her support there gave me even extra motivation to push and to keep going, because I had someone in my corner that was backing me up no matter what. Someone who I just met a few months in was that supportive of me. That was super, super inspirational. But yeah, that prep was a very hard experience because I was managing so many things outside of it with all those trips, all those unexpected events. And on top of all that, one more thing I forgot to mention was my car broke down in like some freak storm. Like one day I was just getting ready for the gym, going about my morning routine. In Texas, like the weather's very random. You don't know when it's gonna storm. And I walked outside, I see a pile of rubble on my car, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? My car was totaled, so did not have a car for about a week. But I still Ubered to the gym and rented a car also to get my workouts in. I still did everything I said I was going to do despite that unexpected circumstance. So many unexpected things happened to me during prep, with my car breaking down, with my grandma dying. And I'm not saying, and this unexpected thing was not a bad thing at all, but dating this amazing woman who's now my girlfriend, that was an amazing experience. But that was an unexpected thing that I had to manage. And on top of that, managing my full-time job and managing going to these weddings and showing up for the people that I care about, I managed all that and still was able to lose 33 pounds and step on stage and beat out somebody in a category, and was very close to beating them overall, 2 points away. So I did all that despite not winning, and that's a huge win for me, to be able to manage all that and be the leanest I've ever been. I've never been that lean my entire life. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I struggled with obesity my entire life. I've always been a fat kid, always been overweight. I've always lost weight. Like I said before, I gained 75 pounds and gained it all back. The heaviest I've been was 292 pounds. Right now I'm about 200 pounds now, post-competition. Doing a good job keeping the weight off so far, and I'm gonna keep it up and show you guys like how to do that. But I want to encourage everyone who's watching this, if there's something that you want to do and it scares you a little bit, do it. It doesn't have to be a bodybuilding competition. It could be something as like switching a career, or telling a girl that you like her, or doing a 5K. Like do things that you think you could not do, because once you do it, you're gonna realize that you're capable of doing anything you put your mind to. There's no limits to what you can do in life. You just have to build that evidence that you can do it. Don't let anyone's judgment of you, your own fears, get in the way of whatever you want to do to challenge yourself, or something new you want to try. Just do it. It's been a game changer for me personally. Like going through prep really opened my perspective to a lot of things. Like one of the main things that it really helped me do was saying no. I was really scared of telling my friends like no to drinking, because I love to be like, I'm a big social drinker and I don't like to say no. But whenever I was competing and had that reason to not drink, I just did it, took the leap. And I accepted whatever was gonna happen is gonna happen. Like I decided, why would I be friends with people that don't support my goals? So if they don't want to support me when I say no to drinking, then we're not meant to be friends. Like I want to be around people that support me. So that like opened my perspective to that. Like why get in the way? Why let certain things get in the way of what I want to do? Like if I'm around people that don't allow me to do that, then they shouldn't be in my life, because you only get to live life one time, and you don't want to waste it pleasing others. You want to be able to live the life that you want to live. So I just want to end it with that. Do something that scares you, because it's going to open your eyes to what you're actually capable of. So thank you all for watching, and for those who supported me when I was posting and documenting my bodybuilding prep, thank you all for your support. I had no idea it would inspire a lot of people. So I'm gonna keep this thing going and post more content with my fitness journey, and I hope that I get to at least inspire one person. That's all I really care about, is if even if just one person gets moved by my content, then honestly, like, that's enough for me. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.